trying to come and chill with you. Flip a dojin in the bed, I'm reading manga till it's 2. Tell me that you love us if I go, I'm knowing that it's true. Cause you acting all moe and vanilla in my view. So this is for them waifus. Straight 2D flex in my life, fool. If you fuck with hands, how you my dude. Let the beat right out, keep it nice and smooth, yo. Hello? Yeah, I got a question.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Weeaboos, the anime podcast where some of the most unqualified people try to answer your anime questions. I'm Kyle.
I'm Jeremy.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Dean.
Dean! Yeah,
Finally.
yeah, Dean's finally back. He's been gone for a long time. He's a good friend of ours. Why don't you quickly give us your background in anime, how you got started, what you like, what you don't like?
Oh, man. So it started when I was really young. I would say in elementary school. Adult Swim, of course. Yeah.
Totally.
I don't know. I just definitely was a night owl for growing up, so I definitely watched Full Metal Alchemist, Cowboy Bebop, all the older ones, like good stuff. I always I tend to like that stuff more.
Right.
You know, rather than bad stuff.
But just been watching it pretty much. Although I will say I typically just watched Adult Swim until high school, until I met Kyle. Our friendship grew, and he told me about how I was never up to date with watching it online, and that's when I started watching stuff online, and that's
It
when
was
I started
funny.
watching airing stuff.
I think I was talking to another friend of ours, and you overheard the fact that I was going to a convention. Like, this is how we became friends in the first place. And so you, sat next to me, the next day, and was like, so you're going to a convention? And I'm like, yeah.
What kind of convention?
I'm like, oh, it's kind of like a Comic-Con. And you're like, what do you do there? I'm like, you meet people? And you're like, what kind of people? You were trying to get it out of me so hard. And I think I said voice actors, and that's when you're like, do you watch anime?
Oh, man. So, yeah, I definitely had no friends that watched anime, so it was definitely growing up just by myself watching it. And so it was nice to finally learn someone else watched it. It was cool. So,
but what is really cool about having you here is the fact that Dean has actually seen a lot of anime. Compared to you guys. Unfortunately, he's only going to be here probably one other episode.
Yeah, probably one or
because he has to go travel and do fun stuff. But let's get into tonight's topic, which is we always forget about that. Dean, why don't you first tell everyone what we're drinking tonight?
Tonight we are enjoying a Polliner Oktoberfest Marzen, which is actually really good. I like it a lot.
Yeah, Marzen? It's one of the better Oktoberfests I've had.
I'm not. I'm drinking the chai high
that we had last week.
Bye from last week. Yeah.
Chai so good.
But yes, this week's topic is guilty pleasures. It's going to be kind of a fun one, just really casual. Before we jump into just naming off what guilty pleasures we love, let's give our quick stance on how we feel about guilty pleasures in anime. It's hard to like something or justify liking something, but it's really easy to criticize. And because of this, so many people play the guilty pleasure card simply due to the fact that they don't want to feel bad for liking something.
Okay.
With this in mind, how do you feel about guilty pleasures? Are they good? Are they bad? Are they neutral?
They're good. What do you? I don't see anything wrong with guilty pleasures. Anyone, it doesn't justify what they're watching. If what they're watching is bad, and they're like, it's a guilty pleasure of mine. Good for you, but it doesn't justify the bad anime.
Okay.
Basically.
It has to have only certain parts, not just bad in general. I feel like, and you can't just watch a bad series and say it's a guilty pleasure because it's bad.
Exactly.
No, you gotta have certain specific points about the
anime. For me, I think it's just sometimes something really special exists where it just weaves its way through your better judgment and strikes just the right chords to your personal nature, and you can't really help but intrinsically like this thing no matter what. However, I do think it's important to know why you like something and not just constantly say, oh, it's just a guilty pleasure.
It's just the best.
Yeah.
Never think around it. Yeah, I totally agree. That was well put. So a guilty pleasure shouldn't be you don't watch the show for the guilty pleasure. The guilty pleasure can just pop up in good anime that you watch rather than watching the entire anime for just the one thing.
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So with that in mind, let's talk about some of our favorite guilty pleasures, and I think we might also kind of extend this to also favorite tropes and cliches, although they're not the exact same thing. I think those will pop up for sure. Does anyone want to start with one of their favorite guilty pleasures in anime?
I guess I believe it'd be like for like older animations. I always loved. It's like a sign of like poor quality, I believe, but it was in older animations where it's the backgrounds are like painted in stone, and you can always tell when an item is going to be picked up because it's a different shade or hue. And I always love that because I'm like, oh, I know what book he's going to pick up, or I know the button's right there.
What's going to happen next?
It's a very strange thing. The first.
I don't know. I've always liked that. For some reason, I liked older animations for them.
Yeah, it's almost like being able to predict what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I think you can just categorize that as pleasures, though.
That's the pleasures. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like bad.
That's more like a unique interest.
Bad start, my bad.
No, it's perfectly fine.
It's still fun.
Yeah. For me, and I feel like for a lot of people, maybe, the most obvious one is over-the-top fan service.
Yes.
But, Sam is shaking his head.
Kyle, no way.
I mean,
Okay, but it has to be
definitely wouldn't say that for me.
specifically over-the-top. Like, that's a big key component. It's not just fan service, because there are a lot of shows, like we had a fan service episode, that are ruined by fan service.
Mm-hmm.
But something that comes to mind is Prison School. Like, that is so utterly ridiculous
Yeah.
that it's outwardly hilarious. Like,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love,
and something like, I mean, we'll talk about this in the second half when we're talking about what is airing, which was Keijo. I loved the first episode of Keijo. It was fantastic. It was so stupid, but in the best possible way. And like, legitimately, it's so good.
That's so silly. How can it be stupid in a good way?
You're stupid in a good way.
Actually,
I
that was a
wouldn't like-
really good rebuttal. I think that's true.
I wouldn't like being called that. I wouldn't like that being said to me. Are you kidding? You're stupid, but in a good way?
Fine, you're stupid in a bad way. How's that feel?
Well, yeah, that feels worse. But
It still feels bad, though.
I don't know. First, okay. A guilty pleasure of mine would definitely be an all-female cast. I just mentioned this earlier, actually.
Yeah.
It's being able to see into the mind of women in 5 different ways, rather than just the girl of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah, I think all female casts kind of prevent having like female stereotypes, at least compared to when males are around.
Okay.
Because if it's a male-female split, there's going to be like the typical girly girl. Mm-hmm. That is kind of eliminated off the bat if you have an all-female cast, typically. Not always, but... Sam, I think you're a little interesting, aren't you?
I guess. Like, I'm stupid in a good way. So
you got some perks.
I legit am positive I don't have any guilty pleasures, which Kyle thought was super weird.
Because,
I don't think it is.
If the definition of a guilty pleasure is something that someone enjoys despite knowing it's not generally held in high regard, if that is the definition of a guilty pleasure, if you don't have one, that's basically saying, I only like things that coincide with the general consensus. I have no like individual interests.
Opinion,
Yeah, okay, but here's the thing. So, I'm very picky, as the podcast may have learned. I'm extremely picky with what I do and what I don't watch. I'll drop an anime immediately if I don't like it. So the things I usually end up watching and finishing and liking are ones that the majority of people also consider to be really good.
Okay.
I don't like everything that people like, because I fucking hate Keijo or whatever it's called.
Well, no one. I only like Cage.
There's a lot of people listening right now that are like, fuck yeah, Keijo.
Yeah, and I love those people.
They have all
Right?
these Facebook pages and Instagram pages, and Kyle's their only like.
Exactly.
But
I don't like everything that's popular, but the things I do like are generally considered popular. I don't think I've ever watched something that most people don't like.
I love Cage so much.
Yeah.
get out of your face right now. Get out of here.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting to me. And I feel like there has to be something out there, but you just can't think of it.
I honestly hope there is, because if that makes me uninteresting, then that's sad. But
yeah.
maybe I'm uninteresting.
No, I think it is true. You definitely watch the more popular ones, but there's definitely something you've seen that's you liked it. I mean, of course you liked it because you finished it, and you said yourself you'd drop it if you didn't. So it's hard to come think of it. So.
Yeah.
Let's see. Another guilty pleasure of mine, it kind of coincides with the over-the-top fan service. It's really anything that goes over the top or takes that one extra step too far. Gurren Lagann is a good example. Like, it just gets progressively more insane. You think it's gonna finally stop, or like any shonen protagonist, really, they just get their next power up and their next power up. Everyone says like when a protagonist gets a new power, it's just plot armor. Like, who cares? It's bad writing. But you know, they're all secretly thinking like, it's pretty cool.
That's kind of cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Kyle's weakness.
Yeah.
Go more over the top.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, that doesn't even only apply to like shonen and things. It's like if there's a yandere type character who's just like if you don't know, it's like a crazy obsessive like girl who just almost wants to kill who they're in love with.
Okay.
If that actually happens, if that yandere takes the next step and like kills people out of love, like that's like no one is expecting that. It's way over the top of a typical yandere. That's
a really good example. That's a good guilty pleasure.
Yeah. Anyone else? Dean, do you have anything in mind?
Oh man, I should have brushed up on my history before this talk.
Kyle's got all the notes.
He's got the notes.
I can keep going.
You can keep going for now. Something will pop up.
This is, I mean, I guess most guilty pleasures are personal, but I really like both apathetic main characters and short main characters because...
Like stature
short, because I can relate.
No, okay.
So, like in Haikyuu...
Who's taller, you or me?
Probably you.
Stand up.
1 second,
man.
everyone. I'm not moving.
I think we're about the same height.
I consider myself short.
So I'm like 7 inches taller than Kyle.
Yeah, Sam's so big.
6.5.
Oh, stop.
So yeah, I mean, like Haikyuu is a very short protagonist. In the new All Out,
Especially volleyball, yeah.
yeah, in the new All Out anime, there's a short protagonist. Apathetic, the main character of Hyoka comes to mind. Oreki.
I just can't think
here's
of
the
it on the
thing.
spot right now.
And I said this to you like the second you told me that the topic was going to be guilty pleasures. To me, I consider my guilty pleasure to be anime.
Okay, we can talk about that. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think there's necessarily specific things in anime that are my guilty pleasures. It's just like that's it. I watch anime, that's the guilty pleasure.
I feel like that's a big criticism of anime, though.
Yeah.
But I think you're allowed to criticize something you love. What's wrong with that?
Totally. I agree.
Yeah.
Maybe criticism was the wrong word, but it's basically saying
All anime is kind of
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad, but in terms of its recognition
down
from...
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then what's odd is if I take regular movies, a guilty pleasure of mine for real life shit is like fuck, what's the word?
Apple.
Apples. I like really low budget, like stupid horror movies.
Okay.
Like a few weeks ago, I watched
B-movies.
on Netflix. I watched a movie called Zombievers, and it was like the
How was that, by
greatest,
the way? I was gonna watch that, but
fucking hilarious. Highly recommend.
What is with you people? There are other people like you. I hope
Yeah.
you know.
So like I have guilty pleasures for other stuff, but for anime, like I just don't.
Okay.
Okay.
Jeremy,
Sorry.
I'm surprised you didn't say ponytails.
Yeah, ponytails is more of just a regular guilty pleasure though. It doesn't have to be
I'm
anime.
sorry, wait, are ponytails looked down upon?
Well, like I was saying,
just
it's kind of like a trope, or a cliche.
Yeah.
Not even.
Not a cliche.
You're just into ponytails.
I'm just into ponytails.
Yeah.
yeah.
Thanks
Or even-
for for that, Kyle.
Or I know we talked about kuderes, the kind of Yuki Nagato is a kudere, that kind of silent, very quiet,
Oh, yeah.
almost emotionless type girl.
Actually, Kyle, you probably know me better than I know myself here. It's 'cause you're
Those are
nailing it right now.
Jeremy's,
Those
yeah.
are-
Yeah.
I think this would be so much easier if we were just talking about tropes or common cliches that we like in anime, even if they're not
can.
looked down about.
We can.
That's
upon.
what we are talking about, I thought.
I love it
Guilty pleasure,
when
okay.
you know main characters aren't safe. I love it when main characters or important characters die and you know they can die at any point.
Okay.
Fucking love it.
Yeah. Is there an example you can think of? Right? Oh, that might be spoiler. Let's not say it.
All right. So like, yep. Sure can. I mean, I love it when when an anime says the name of their anime in an episode. Like, that's always the episode. When they say the name, you're like, oh my god.
Would watching an anime purely on because it's something that it's based on a subject that
Take
you
a
like.
drink.
All right.
That was weird.
Yeah. Are you tipping glasses now? So like say like I like bicycles, but of course, Mushi Pedal is actually good, so I can't say I only watch it because it's.
There was also what was the motorcycle one that?
What was that?
Golden Boy.
No, I was gonna say Golden Boy, but
there's.
I do like Golden Boy though.
There was a motorcycle one that came out not too long ago, and there's something airing this season with bikes. Long Riders, I think is what it's called. So
I'll definitely give them a watch,
Dean
just
likes-
because I like
Bike
bikes.
Shop
Even if
just
it's
sells
a
bikes. It
bad,
doesn't
the
even
worst
buy it.
anime ever, I'm still gonna watch it.
yeah, it's not very good.
Still gonna watch it. See,
All right. Oh, I forgot about one. I really like it when, typically a tomboy has to wear cute clothes.
Oh yeah.
It's like, oh, you have to dress up for the
Yeah.
fancy ball, and she's like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, oh my goodness.
oh man, yeah.
Come on, guys.
That's a weird thing to like, though.
I know.
Your example to me, you were like, Sam, think about it. Think of this sentence. I would watch any anime as long as it has blank. And for you, that's if a tom girl has to dress up nice.
Yeah, I probably watched it.
Yeah.
So, Anonymous asks, yo, big fan of the podcast. You might have talked about this on a previous episode, but I was wondering what your guys' opinion on the long-running shonen such as Naruto and One Piece are. I know you've spoken about Bleach before, but with Naruto airing its final big fight this week, I was hoping to hear your opinions about it. Keep up the good work, and hope you guys keep putting up some great content.
Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. I watched the original
Yes.
Naruto, and I stopped when it got to Shippuden. I still know a lot about what is happening with Naruto, but I'm not watching it.
Okay.
I thought what I watched in the first, section was okay, but the reason I didn't continue is because it just really didn't appeal to me. I didn't want to spend even more time watching something that I wasn't super interested in. But Sam, you kind of keep up to
Yeah, I
date
kind
with
of
it?
keep up with it. I really like... Okay, I liked the way Bleach ended in terms of the anime, not the manga, because I know that ended to, and it was a big revelation, whatever the fuck, but I don't really read manga. So, in terms of just the way the anime ended, I think Bleach had an okay ending for the anime, but it was very open. Clearly, it wasn't finished. I like the fact that Shippuden is actually getting the real ending. That being said, this question is kind of a week-ish late in terms of when we're responding to it, because the fight for us actually happened last week, and this week, maybe today or tomorrow, the final episode is actually airing.
Right.
I really love how it contrasted in Shippuden when their final fight happens versus when they actually fought when they were younger, because there was just so much history built up and you could really see how far each character came. And one of my favorite things in any anime, any show, anything is character development. And I loved the stark contrast in both of the characters. They were enemies. That's all they would say they were in their first fight in the same setting. And then even while they're fighting, they both acknowledge verbally that even though they're enemies, they're both of them are each other's like greatest friends, and they've both come so far. So I think it's such a cool 180 or mirroring of where they've been and where they're going. And I'm really excited to watch the final episode. I already know how it's going to end, but I want to see it. It's just an exciting thing to experience after you've been watching something for like 10 years, you know?
Yeah. So, I mean, but that totally makes sense for those characters to become best friends.
Right,
You know?
yeah,
like
imagine-
they know exactly each other's struggles.
Yeah, but imagine how I felt when Bleach ended and it was terrible.
Yeah, so I didn't watch One Piece, so I'm sorry I don't have more to say about that. But in general, I like where they're ending.
I'm up to date with One Piece. It's still going, I think, strong. I love it. It's probably the best of the three. I mean, that's just my opinion, because it doesn't feel, it's not like a shonen in my opinion. It's just something in and of itself. It's so big. It's its own thing.
I've watched Bleach. I haven't watched Naruto or One Piece. I'm sorry, everyone's gonna hate me first episode. I probably won't give Naruto a watch.
After Kyle's like, Dean's watched so much.
Oh, I know. I probably won't give Naruto a watch, but definitely will give One Piece a watch. Just give me like a year to catch up, and maybe I'll watch it sometime.
Jeez.
But
Now let's finally move on to what we're watching. This is going to be a big,
Fall.
big fall first impressions. Give me a sec.
I might watch 2.
Well, let's go through the list.
Which two?
All Out and Occultic 9. Those are
You're
like,
not gonna like All Out.
Why not?
It's kind of gay. It's really gay.
Is it gayer than the ice skating thing?
Yes.
No way.
Let's talk about it.
Legitimately?
Yeah. Okay. So,
The whole time.
So-
Not even playing rugby.
so just sucking dicks.
They're just all in the locker room just sucking dicks.
Guys, they can't see this, okay?
Watashi wa dicks. Ah.
Watashiwa? I
You-
am dick. Isn't that what that is?
I want that as a
Or I
tattoo.
dick.
Boku wa dicks.
Watashiwa dick.
Yeah.
In plain English.
So, let's start out with the new season of Haikyuu. That is like the default most hype show of the season. If you're up to date with Haikyuu, volleyball. The new season of Hibike Euphonium. It feels like it's trying too hard to find the plot, but at the same time, the production value is still super high because it's Kyoto Animation. But because it's focusing so much on other characters and not the main characters that we know, it almost feels, and this might sound strange, kind of voyeuristic. It's like an epilogue we're not supposed to be seeing right now, and that's due to the lack of plot. Like, we're just seeing these two characters interact with nothing really going around.
Okay.
That's still kind of cool.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
And there'll be more to it for sure, but Hibike is good. There's also the new season of Iron-Blooded Orphans, and I missed that a lot. It's one of the best Gundams that has come out in a long time. Yuri on Ice was like a big surprise. We talked about it in our summer preview as something that is highly anticipated, more from an animation perspective, but I was so surprised at how like legitimately good it really was. It's definitely not going to appeal to everyone because it's super gay, and I mean that in the most literal way possible. It's definitely geared super towards the female audience, but like I was just floored at it. I thought it was great.
How gay it was.
Oh, man, super good. So, next is Ping Pong Girls. And I think when we did the summer preview, I sarcastically called it, there's like some ping pong girl anime coming out. It's actually called Ping Pong Girls. The Fault in Our Shoujos asked my opinion of the show. And I said I found it to have like this super tacky charm to it. By all means, it should be the most generic anime out there. And I still can't put my finger on why I like it so much. It just struck a chord in me. And it's not the type of show where it's so bad it's good. That's not what I'm getting at. But it felt just super genuine, like somehow. I'm not exactly sure. It's just whoever's directing it is not playing off tropes of just cute girls doing cute things. It has a very definitive personality to it.
But it's like the type of show that it is like it is cliche. Not that that's a bad thing, but like they're doing the cliches right. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
But they're actually pushing the boundaries, kind of.
No.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
something I would relate to that is not anime. Shoot me. Is
Get out.
Is Happy Endings? Happy Endings on it's on Hulu. Check it out. It's like a Seinfeld or a Friends, where it's just fucking normal group of people. Like nothing interesting would ever happen, but they're kooky and weird, and they just go through life. Like
strangely enjoyable.
and it's done so well.
Next is Drifters. I'm not really sure how I feel about it yet. There's still a lot we don't know. It's basically these historical figures being transported to a fantasy world when they quote unquote die.
But take a drink.
We had to drink to that last week.
I'm out of alcohol.
Yeah, the
So
new
am
alcohol.
It's kind of warm.
It's fine. But yeah, there's just not enough to know about this show yet. It's supposed to be really good, one of the most anticipated shows, but there wasn't really anything super special about it yet. Now, Flip Flappers was so good. It was really good.
You better be serious.
I'm completely serious. It felt like a retro, genuine adventure story between these two girls.
Flip Flappers was...
Which one was that? The which one?
I thought it was cassette.
No, that was
No,
called
no,
The
no,
Last
no, no.
I
Wish.
thought it was cassette.
Flip Flappers is the one where Hunter said they had super big eyes and that she's riding on a surfboard.
That one. Yeah.
That felt like somewhere between Adventure Boy Conan or Future Boy Conan and
Adventure Boy.
yeah, it sounds like an anime title. And Eureka 7.
Oh yeah.
And
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay.
it was just really like it felt so unique. and I loved it, and I'm really looking forward to that show.
Cool.
All Out was the rugby anime. I don't really like the source material. I guess it's directed well, but I don't like the characters a lot. It's not bad, it's just something is kind of throwing me off about it. But I do think it's really interesting that we finally have something unique like a rugby anime. Let's talk about Keijo.
Okay, we're done talking about
No,
Keijo.
Keijo is fantastic.
How do you talk about Keijo?
Exactly,
You just
like-
look at Keijo.
Yes, that's a fantastic point. Like, if I just imagine myself, like, if I were to go back in time and tell young Kyle that one day he'll be able to see an anime completely about girls just fighting with their asses, like, and then disappear. Like, I would have so much to live for, and I would be, like, I would have so much hope. It's fantastic.
Anime will exist one day.
Keijo is the reason
Uh-huh.
anime is my guilty pleasure.
Whatever.
Okay?
Whatever.
Keijo is the reason I don't tell girls that I watch anime.
Gosh, no.
That
Like,
is true.
I was at work and I like checked my phone for a second. I was seeing gifs of Keijo and like I was dying. I was almost going up to my boss saying like, I'm not feeling well. I need to go home right now.
I need to watch Keijo again.
So, let's see what's next. Trickster. It wasn't really great, and that's kind of a nice way of saying it was stupid. I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt because we still don't know a lot. It was only one episode, but it just seems super generic to me. Shumatsu no Izeta was probably the most cinematic thing. That was the witch anime.
The Last Witch.
Yeah. It has a very intricate story with good attention to detail, although it's already a little bit generic with its characterization. I've seen like this princess 1,000 times before, but I also feel like at the same time it doesn't really appeal to my personal taste, which is I don't really love shows that focus on plot. We've talked about it. I like character-driven shows, and this seems just very political, and that doesn't, appeal to me. There's the new season of Working. If you're a fan of the franchise, you'll like this. It's kind of a spin-off with new characters. It's the same thing.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know.
Then there is the Magical Girl Rising Project. It seems to have a pretty okay production value. It was what I would assumed it to be. That's probably not grammatically correct. It's what I assumed it to be, which is a dark magical girl show, kind of playing off the Madoka vibe. But there's like one kind of minor interesting twist to it, which is, and this is spoilers for the first episode, one of the magical girls is actually a boy.
Dun,
What
dun,
the
dun.
fuck?
It's fine. It didn't impact my view on the show one way or another.
It's the new hit thing to do.
Yeah, I feel like
with
we've
the
seen that
genders.
before. Yeah.
Sure. I mean, like, I thought it was fine. It didn't make me any more or less likely to watch the show. It's just
Yeah.
an interesting factor about the show. But I feel like it's going to try too hard to be dramatic. Bloodivores was so bad I don't think I'm going to watch it. 3 Gatsu no Lion was absolutely beautiful. Probably the best thing that's going to come out this season.
I'm so mad I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna watch it like as
There
soon as I
is
get home.
such good attention to detail. Some might say that it's slow, but I feel like it's just simply not in a rush to tell its story, which is great. Especially compared to other anime season like Occultic 9, which just sped through things like crazy.
Yeah.
It was masterful, this show. Long Riders, I briefly talked about, is the new bike anime. It's pretty much only exists for bike otaku. If you're not into bikes, then don't watch it.
I will be watching it.
Let's know.
There's the new season of Natsume Yunjincho, which is so nice to have back like in my life. It's like the 5th season. The show's been running forever. Nanbaka was okay. It's just kind of a flat, generic gag comedy show. Yeah, nothing really stands out. Then there is Bungo Stray Dogs season 2. It's not good.
Hey yo! It's not worse than the first season.
That's a good point.
Haha, and I like the first season. If you like the first season, second season's about as good, a little bit darker, a little bit cooler.
Worth a try.
I guess. And then finally, there is Occultic 9.
Hey yo, the meat of the podcast. We're about to spend an hour talking about Occultic 9.
That's not true. I couldn't concentrate on anything. I couldn't concentrate on anything because of the main girl's big ass anime titties.
Why are they so big?
It looks like if if I put basketballs under my shirt.
Not even basketballs, dude. Like beach balls.
It's insane.
So big.
Like,
Is this a problem?
normally no, but I
Right.
was so distracted. I couldn't
Here's
there was no anime.
What's weird is a lot of times when you see someone with like, anime, huge tits, they're like out, they're jiggling, they're like always wet for no reason. In this show, they're like covered too. It's almost like they're just making fun. They're like, yeah, because we know you want a big tit character. Here you go. Like, there's no reason for it. It's funny. Normally, I hate fan service. I'm okay with it because it's so obviously stupid.
I was gonna say.
But okay, even if we do look past that, which is incredibly difficult in my opinion, the plot just seemed a little too spastic and, like, fast-paced, and like way too fast-paced. Sure. I think I read that it covered the entire first novel in one episode.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
That's pretty crazy.
It went by very fast. It was so much information in like 25 minutes that it was hard for me to keep up. It's going to be hard for me to base or have an opinion on the show until I see more episodes, just because there is so much shit going on. Mm-hmm. There's like legitimately 5 different stories happening, and at the very end, there's like, and now all the stories are going to somehow mix together. So I'm intrigued, I'm interested, and I love how quickly edited things are, not just the pace, but the editing's really crisp. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. But we've been running a little bit long. We had a lot to talk about this episode. So let's just quickly wrap things up. Please keep sending us questions and episode topics at theweeaboos@gmail.com. You can also send questions to myself at Secret Otaku on Tumblr and to the Weeaboos on Twitter. We want to get the word out, so please keep reblogging. That's incredibly helpful. And if you have time, please give us an iTunes review. I want to thank Hentai Dude for our intro music and Kid Boo for our outro music. And like always, get
Drunk.
And
say anime.
Anime.
sick.
See you guys next week.
See ya.
You can catch me smoking a sour off the coast of Okinawa. Feeling so high like I'm Ho-Oh in a tower. Take a flight on some shit. Got my dogs riding beside me, blazing hot. That's kamikaze. Say goodbye, don't be mad, I'm lit. Catch me smoking a sour off the coast of Okinawa. Feeling so high like I'm Ho-Oh in a tower. Take a flight on some shit. Got my dogs riding beside me, blazing hot. That's kamikaze. Say goodbye, don't be mad, I'm lit.
Let's move on to questions.
Yeah,
Alright.
kink is something that you like, whereas a fetish is something you like can't control.
Oh, okay.
I like it when animes choke me and call me a bad boy.
So those are the animes you watch.
Jesus Christ.